minute it had 25. We've been here a long time. Okay. I don't have enough hands, y'all. So, Student Representation Roundtable. In order to give students a voice / ensure younger perspectives are heard, we propose a student rep on the policy council or on the board / administration. Raise your hand if you would be willing to come up and advocate for this. Come on up, Taj. Raise your hand if you would want to advocate against this. Yes, I can. In order to give students a voice and ensure younger perspectives are heard, we propose a student rep on the policy council or on the board / administration. No one is opposed to that? So Chloe, you can come up, I'll give you a minute. You raised your hand. I'll give you and Taj both a minute to state your case. He can just come too. You want to sit? It's up to you. Okay, I'll give you each, yes, a minute to state your case.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so first, I do agree with this. We kind of have something like this at our school where the eighth grader, one eighth grader can become the school president of like the whole school, I guess. And we have many vice presidents in the other grades, and they all discuss things. But I feel like for example, the president promised something and then wasn't able to do it because the authorities above her, like the principal and the vice principal and the actual authorities, wouldn't let her. And so it's like, I agree with this, but how are we supposed to change something with it if the adults or the authorities won't let us? So, yeah, that's my minute.
Okay, so at Arthur Academy, which is the school that I attend, we have this thing called a debate team or a lit team. And I am a part of that lit team because I just like to debate. Because it's kind of like arguing, and I'm also good at that. So, yeah, I do believe that children should have an opinion in what goes on in school. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing. 28 seconds to spare. Thank you both. I feel like people still may abstain, so we will still vote. So if you are in favor of this policy, if you, on the count of 3, if you will go ahead and hold up your little card wherever you stand, red, yellow, or green, nice and high, and we will tally that. 1, 2, 3. And keep holding them up. We'll let you know when you can take them down, please. Did you just change on me? Oh, okay. Gotta watch. And you guys let me know when y'all are good. Okay. Thank you all. Go ahead and put those down. Our next proposal. So remember, when you are coming, specifically related to the proposal that's being shared, you are coming up and advocating why this particular proposal should be instituted or why it should not, why you believe it should not be. In order to be able to offer sports and extracurricular activities to everyone, we propose that surveys of interest be given to students to see what activities should be offered in each school. I'll read it one more time. In order to be able to offer sports and extracurricular activities to everyone, we propose that surveys of interest be given to students to see what activities should be offered in each school. Would someone like to come up and advocate for this one? At the very least, the person who wrote it, you wanted it. That's why I have it in my hand. Who would like to come up and advocate for this particular one? Okay, come on up. Thank you. And anyone that is opposed to this particular one? You raised your hand for both, Taj. Oh, got you. So you don't want to come up and argue because you're opposed. You are opposed to this, so you don't think this is a good idea. Okay, come on up. What'd you say? Oh. So yes, we'll use advocating instead of fighting. We have different opinions. So I'm going to read it one more time. And again, we're addressing the issue that I'm reading on this policy proposal, why you're against this specific one. In order to be able to offer sports and extracurricular activities to everyone, we propose that surveys of interest be given to students to see what activities should be offered in each school.
I am for this proposal. I have a child in the school system, and I know that his interests are not necessarily represented. He has a very small window of what is offered to him, and that makes me sad because there are things that he has to offer this school system and his peers that he's not given a platform for.
Okay, so I kind of disagree to a certain extent because it's like the popular sports are football, basketball, baseball, and maybe volleyball, maybe. But for like the other sports like lacrosse and soccer and the sports that no one plays, like really no one plays, if there's a lot of people in the school who actually play that, but like not enough to win the census or the survey, how are you supposed to still get that sport to be played in the school if not everyone says yes, but there are many people who still play that sport that would join the team? It's like there's more people who play football, basketball, volleyball, and baseball than the people who play lacrosse, soccer, all those other sports for the polo, things like that. So yes. Right, so I feel like there is a way to find out, but this just isn't the right way to do it.
Thank you for sharing. Let's give them a round of applause. I know, lots of clapping today, lots of clapping today. Do I need to read the proposal again? Are we good? Y'all good? Okay. So if you are, I'll count to 3 and we will vote again. If you are in favor of this proposal, if you are abstaining, or if you think that it should not be, go ahead and raise your cards. 1, 2, 3. And raise them nice and high. Know what you're saying. It's in the envelope. In the envelope. Okay, you all can let those down. Thank you. Okay. In order to address female students in school restrooms, we propose an initiative to place female faculty/staff members near those restrooms and also permanently staff student advocates to devise and implement student appeals processes and procedures. If someone would like to come up and advocate in favor of that policy? Chloe? Actually, let anyone else, since you and Taj came up, was that your hand, Reagan? You were stretching? What'd you say? You'll come up and advocate for? Okay. Anyone opposed to this one that would be open to play devil's advocate, Marion? Don't tell me y'all not opposed and then hold up red marks. Come on. I'm gonna let him go first. Look at you being. Oh, I guess we've been doing. Yes, you are for.
I'm for. Okay, the reason that I'm for this particular policy is because I wrote it. I honestly feel like our students don't have as much of a voice as they should. And if we as teachers, administrators, educators want to show that we're serious about giving children that voice, then we should be able to put up some money and permanently staff a student support person or a student advocate that goes a little bit deeper than your school guidance counselor, but someone who is actually there to listen to the problems that our students are having with the policies and procedures that honestly folks above us come up with anyway, and create a process to appeal the decisions that are made by administrators whose hands are tied most of the time anyway.
Good job.
The only reason I'm against is more so thinking about the actual process of this. So thinking about that second portion of the students, with the power that they would potentially form. I think the point that you gave earlier, Taj, about do they actually have power, or is it just a show of power? Will they actually be able to have an opinion that matters, that's weighed in a way that might actually change something? So I think that there's that piece. The other piece is just the question on money and who's staff, and we're already struggling to find teachers. And so what does it look like is it student hall monitor? Like, in what ways can we empower the people who are already in the buildings to be doing that particular piece? I think that's what I'm thinking about. There's just a lack of funding, consistent funding for that.
That part is over. Go ahead, you can have your 21 seconds left from your first time.
I think that your name is Taj, right? Taj brought up a really, really good point that students are not now what they were in the 90s or in the 80s or in the 70s, and there has to be a sort of paradigm shift in the way that we as educators think about things, process things, and provide services to our children. So there's really no point in us forming a student governing body if we aren't going to actually take their thoughts and experiences into consideration. I wouldn't suggest it if I wasn't prepared to take your thoughts and considerations seriously.
And in all fairness, would you like to offer a counter rebuttal?
She does not.
No, I think that's absolutely correct. I think the problem is not the idea, the problem is the process for me of how we actually get to the idea.
Thank you. So again, same process. We good? Anyone need me to read it again? Yes. Okay. Oh, I already switched to the next one. Let me go back. In order to address female students in school restrooms, we propose an initiative to place female faculty and staff members near those restrooms and also permanently staff student advocates to devise and implement student appeals processes and procedures. Did you write it right? Like you wrote it yourself? Oh, no, I'm not. No, I mean, I didn't know if you shared it. You have really nice handwriting, so I know that. Yeah, I didn't know if it was you verbatim. I was curious. Anyway, yes. So back to that one. On the count of three, if you will. On the count of three, if you will raise your cards and vote for how you feel on that, if you are opposed, for, or abstaining. 1, 2, 3.
We already have a lot of work to do already. Taj, you have male teachers? You have male teachers?
Okay, you can go ahead and put those down. And last one, and we are going to get you all home. In order to stop gender inequality for the dress code within the school system, we propose to maybe come up with a dress code that would best fit both genders so they would feel comfortable during school. Who would like to advocate for that one? And who would like to advocate, who is opposed to that? I think my back row. It was even the scene that y'all came up and said something. I want to hear what one of you all have to say about that. Will someone volunteer to come up and advocate for that one, please? They opposed. Anybody for? We'd love to hear some more voices up here or some more voices that we've not heard much of. Yes. In order to stop gender inequality for the dress code within the school system, we propose to maybe come up with a dress code that would best fit both genders so they would feel comfortable during school. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone opposed? You're opposed? You raised your hand when I was for too, Taj.
No way, Taj.
Is anyone else opposed that would like to come up? You are? Okay, come on up. Thank you.
No way you're opposed.
And hold on, just.
You don't want this one.
I feel like it don't matter what we wear. I mean, why y'all looking anyway? I mean, like, why y'all looking at our stomachs and stuff? Who's attracted to stomachs and kneecaps and the back of our feet? Who's looking at that? Yeah.
Memphis? Want candy?
I disagree because it sounds like that's what the uniforms were that they previously had that they took away. So you're at school for a reason, and it's not to show off per se your individuality via your clothes. So let's not prioritize our list. You go to school to learn and conduct yourself in a social environment. What you wear should not matter until you are out and can make those decisions and you have other things going on. But right now, just let the main thing be the main thing.
I'm not saying like booty shorts all the way up here, but like shorts going over our kneecaps. I mean, who's attracted to that though? That's all I'm saying.
30 seconds. Okay.
Because you'd be surprised what people are looking at and what they're not looking at because you're at this young age, which of course you shouldn't be focused on that, but nonetheless, they make shorts that come below your kneecaps. But there's a standard. When you're creating a standard for a group of people, you have to go according to the group and not the one or two or the few. The many it's a blanket to cover the many. So it sounds like a uniform would just resolve all of that. Just keep it simple.
Thank you both. And I think that those are the real things that we are dealing with in the real issues. I'm sure y'all felt the tension up here on that conversation, but I think these are the kinds of things that we're wrestling with. And even with programs, even with programs and, different things, we have the opportunity to have that dialogue and practice being able to have civil discourse. So I'll read it one more time and then we are going to vote. In order to stop gender inequality for the dress code within the school system, we propose to maybe come up with a dress code that would best fit both genders so they would feel comfortable during school. And on the count of 3, red, yellow, or green, 1, 2, 3. And if you will keep them held high for us. Yeah, you'll have to pick one. Because that if you have all 3, they'll just put it down for each one of them so it won't matter.
Really?
You got to pick one, Taj.
Wait a second.
Okay, we'll start again. So choose one color, because if you are undecided and it's many, maybe you need to be yellow. Pick one color. Okay, and go ahead and hold them up.
Why is my yellow on the table?
Mm-mm.
I'm holding up a green eye.
Do you want to say anything?
Well,
Okay, we're good. You can go ahead and let them down.
I'm done.
So we plan to, after the end of this event, we plan to take your ideas and we're going to write up a formal policy proposal, just sharing what people have said, what it is that they've experienced, and sharing that with the powers that be. Depending on the issue, it depends on who it is that, that will be shared with. I would like Katie Madull and Lana Higgins to come up to the front, please.
Miss Lana. Bestie F.
You go, girl.
Bestie F.
So this project in its entirety would not be possible without these two in particular. I know I shared Marion and I partnering on the project. Lana serves as a program assistant with Breakthrough Birmingham, and we hired Katie to be our intern for this particular project. Lana has been in each session, following up with students, sending them text messages and reminders, taking attendance, and so many things, and handling just the communication on a weekly basis. And as y'all know, and as y'all know too, but just, yes, with students, sometimes that communication is a lot. So communicating with parents, making phone calls, all those things, sending out emails throughout the whole process. And that was last semester and this semester as well. And then Katie has been amazing. The students, you haven't seen much of her, but she's been helping with a lot of the logistical things and paperwork and getting communication sent and different things like that. It's a big undertaking and just would have been very, very taxing without both of their dedicated hard work. So thank you both. Cool. Y'all can go have a seat. So thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. This concludes our event. If you will, before you leave, take a minute. It's the last piece of paper on your sheet. Students that are participants, you all have a different one. If you will go ahead and fill out the survey that we have, that allows us just to meet the requirements, the things that the grant funders have asked us so that we can promote events and potentially get funding, in the future. So if you will take just a few minutes, I know we've been here a while. Thank you for your patience with the streaming difficulties. But if you'll take a few minutes and fill out that post questionnaire, that would be great. Thank you all so much for coming. I'll let Marion have the last word.
Thank you. So, thank you so much for coming on this beautiful Saturday and spending it with us. I just want you to know that you just being here and participating, I think, shows students who are not only participating in our actual play, but the students also sitting out in the audience, that there are adults who are willing to listen and who want to have the conversation, and that's the start of what it looks like to shift trajectories going forward. So just know that you being here for a couple of hours on a Saturday really does mean a lot and potentially just helps figure out what the future looks like for us. So thank you so much on behalf of Crystal Rister and Breakthrough Birmingham. Thank you for supporting Scholars for Justice.